Yahawah, he what I pray, cause I know I can die any day. Teach Yahawah, just show me the way. Tryna walk down the path that you laid. Tired of sinning, cause I ain't the God.
Jesus answered them and said, my doctrine is not mine, but his that sent me. If any man will do his will, he shall know of the doctrine, whether it be of God or whether I speak of myself.
See, and all of this is really important because we first started off with 2 John 1 and 9 and said that they don't abide in the doctrine of Yahawah, they have not the Father. But if they have the doctrine of Yahawah, then they have both the Father and the Son. Why would John give that counsel? Because Yahawah's doctrine is not his. Yahawah's doctrine is also the Father. So you see how he's saying that if you end up having Yahawah's doctrine, you will have the Father's doctrine.
We get that, brother. Psalms chapter 40. I want to say, is it verse 5 or is it verse 8? Let's do verse 8, brother. Salaki.
So
Psalms chapter 40 and verse 8. I delight to do thy will, O my God.
King David delights to do the will of the Most High. Oh my God. What, brother?
Yea, thy law is within my heart.
What is in his heart, brother?
Thy law is within my heart.
Thy law is within my heart. So when we're going into the will of the Father, we know we're going into his laws, statutes, and commandments. Which has been the story in the entire biblical story, is that he wants us to come back to his laws, statutes, and commandments, be obedient to him. It should be no surprise that that's the will of the Father. Can we add one more to this, brother? Are you able to grab Sirach chapter 19 and verse 19? Because again, brother, you rightfully brought up a good question. You even started from 2 Ezra 5 about the doctrines that are going to be out there in the world. You know, whether it's blood from a piece of wood or the stones even themselves speaking out. You know, some of the gods that we've not known, neither us or our forefathers, are going to be where some of those many deceptions and deceits come from. And like we said also, not being a respecter of persons, those deceptions can come from all sides. If anything, it's the right doctrine that you need to make sure you stick with instead of trying to figure out which doctrine you should pick. You know what I'm saying? That way, there may be 30 snakes out there, but there may be 30,000. But what difference does that make if all you're looking for is one? You know, now the amount of false doctrines that are out there don't matter as much as a brother who's found the one that was the right one. So that's why that's the best recipe that we can do. You know, instead of searching the world for wrong doctrines, you can search the scriptures for the right one. And just make sure you stay on course with that one. You got a perfect one, brother. Sirach 19:19.
Sirach 19:19. The knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life.
And that's why us brothers feel comfortable adding that to Psalms 40 and 8. The will of the Father is his law. And told us that the doctrine of life is also the commandments and the law. Say it again, brother, from the top.
Sirach chapter 19 verse 19. The knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life. And they that do things that please him shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality.
Shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality. So again, now brother, can you read your John 7:16? Because we just wanted to make sure that we had the understanding of what the doctrine is, what the doctrine isn't. And when Yahawah tells you that my doctrine is not mine, but his that sent me, now you know what doctrine he's going into. When he says, if you had known his will, you would know the doctrine. And brothers got to kind of sit with that. Because it's easier to say, well, I don't know, I don't know. Yahawah is telling you, no, if you had the will of the Father in you, you would know of the doctrine. And you would know if I speak of myself or if I speak of him that sent me. Can you go with that one, brother?
This is the book of John. This is the book of John, chapter 7, verse 18. He that speaketh of himself seeketh his own glory. But he that seeketh his glory that sent him, the same is true. And no unrighteousness is in him.
No unrighteousness is in him. And brother, you know me and you talk about that all the time. Me and this brother have some of the deepest conversations, doing our best to rightly divide the word of truth. Something that I always tell the brother at the end of our talks is, you know, whether a brother looks at me as somebody who he can just chop it up with about the scriptures, if I'm trying to leave a brother with something, it's the ability to be blameless. Most High forbid I lead you out there with a doctrine and I was speaking out of the vanity of my own heart. If I can't show you, thus saith the Most High said it, I'm not going to go out there and teach you that for doctrine. Instead, I'm going to refer you to the one who sent me, like Yahawah said. And you see how there's no unrighteousness in me? But let's say I start speaking of myself. Hey, brother, this is what I broke down. And this is what I got. And this is what I know. And I'm not giving him the person that sent me. See, I have no unrighteousness in me when I send him to the doctrine that's also not mine, but it's the doctrine of the will who sent him. Yahawah seems to think that that's a person that's not seeking his own glory, but he's seeking the glory of him who sent him. And it's very important that we ourselves are also walking in that same spirit. Matter of fact, you got it, brother. Can we get 1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 26? I mean, we got to be honest, brother. Sometimes what gets in the way of sincere brothers that's really seeking out the Most High is agendas. You know, and you got to be careful that you're not operating in your own agenda, leaning on your own understanding, and the whole time you think you're doing the will of the Father. Can we get that, brother? 1 Corinthians 1 and 26.
1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 26. For ye see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called. But God hath chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. And God hath chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things that which are mighty. And base things of the world and the things which are despised hath God chosen, yea, and things which are not, to bring the not things that are, that no flesh should glory in his presence.
That what, brother? Why did the Most High do this?
That no flesh should glory in his presence. But of him are ye in Christ Jesus, who of God is made unto us wisdom and right and sanctification and redemption, that according as it is written.
According as what?
That according as it is written, he that glorieth, let him glory in the Lord.
What's written again, brother?
That according as it is written, he that glorieth, let him glory in the Lord.
And that's what many of us can't do. And something like that may be more subtle than we think. You know, because a brother not going to come out and say, hey, you know what, I'm not glorifying the Most High. I'm glorifying this, and that. But you're going to have to look at the fruits of that, brother. That's why Yahawah gave us a good blueprint about that person that speaks of himself seeks his own glory. But the person that's speaking of the one that sent him, the same is true, and there's no unrighteousness in him. So, believe it or not, brothers do their best out here on the highways and hedges to give you thus said the Most High. You know, we know Nehemiah chapter 8 gives us the ability to read in the book of the law and give the sense and cause people to understand the reading. But that doesn't give brothers the right to go off and create side missions and side agendas. You know, brothers often add this thing like it's an army, you know, or it's a military. And one of the most important things you can do as a soldier is follow the orders that have been given unto you. Sometimes you end up going astray because you're trying to follow this person's orders. You know, well, you told Captain this, I'm going to go do what you told Captain. Think about, this brother knows you like, that ain't going to fly. You know, any organization that runs itself like that is not going to last. Because you can't adhere to the lessons and the teachings that were given unto you. Sometimes that's how we end up establishing side agendas. How you doing, brother?
Believe in God.
Can we give you a Bible verse, brother, before you go? All right, brother. We'll hold you to that, brother. Most High willing, we see you. So again, if any man glory, let him glory in the Most High. And just to add to that, brother, can we get to Jeremiah chapter 9, verse 23? Because Paul did say, as it is written. What was he trying to refer us to? Meaning that it was also written in the old scriptures that this is the case. To him that glorieth, if you want to glory, let him glory in this.
Jeremiah chapter 9 and verse 23. Thus saith the Lord, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Let not the rich man glory in his riches, but let him that glorieth
If you want to glory, like if that's just in your mind, the glory, what is it, brother?
glory in this,
Glory in this,
that he understandeth and knoweth me, that I am the Lord which exercise loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth.
time.
Oh, what's going on?
For in these things I delight, saith the Lord.
For in those things he delights, said the Most High. I mean, you're going to tell a lot about a brother and whose glory he's after just by hearing the words that come out of his mouth. If you leave here glorifying me, I messed up. If you leave here glorifying yourself, I messed up. But if you leave here glorifying the Father, then I feel like I'm in the right way. You know, one of the best accounts in the Bible where the Most High spoke in the New Testament, me and the brother was talking about it, is when Yahawah was getting ready to meet that faithful hour, he told, he said, what, am I supposed to be scared? Essentially, roughly paraphrasing at this moment. He said, but instead, Most High, glorify your name. And the Most High spoke from the clouds and said, I will glorify, I have glorified it and will glorify it again. Look at what Yahawah is looking for. How often are you listening to somebody and after you hear them speak, you perceive that same spirit within them? To where they're going to say, you know what, I'm about to get ready to go be crucified. Like, I already know the hour that's coming to me, but you know what? Father, glorify your name. And then the Father giving you the ability to speak to that. These are mighty things that we ought to be putting on, and the message that we ought to be out here in. Can we add something, brother? Can we go to Deuteronomy chapter 32? And I want to say verse 9. Because as us brothers are saying, we come to this conclusion because this is not a new thing on the earth. As Ecclesiastes 1:9 teaches us, there's no new things under the sun. Israel has been dealing with that spirit all the way since they received the law and entered into the covenant. We're going to show you that. Deuteronomy 32 and verse 9, brother.
Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 9. For the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance.
Now, if you know, this is a very popular verse amongst us brothers in the Israelite community. Deuteronomy 32 and 8, as well as verse 9, because that identifies that Israel is the Most High's portion. Nobody's taking that away from Israel, but it's mighty that us sincere brothers who really want to glorify the Most High, read the rest of the story, read the rest of the account, so we can understand what we have to do. Are we going to this just to hear that we are the Most High's portion, and then we get up and tell another brother, hey, guess what? I'm the Most High's portion. Or is there more to get to this? Let's see, brother. Keep going.
Verse 10. He found him in a desert land and in a waste, howling wilderness. He led him about. He instructed him. He kept him as the apple of his eye.
Right. Be the apple of the Most High's eye. Brothers are right about this. But we definitely want to make sure we get everything in this account.
As an eagle stirreth up her nest, fluttereth over her young, spreadeth abroad her wings, taketh them, beareth them on her wings. So the Lord alone did lead him, and there was no strange God with him. He made him ride on the high places of the earth, that he might eat the increase of the fields, and that he made him to suck honey out of the rock, and oil out of the flinty rock. Butter of kine and milk of sheep, with fat of lambs and rams of the breed of Bashan, and goats with the fat of kids, goat with the fat of kidneys and of wheat, and thou doest drink the poor blood of the grape.
Now see, that goes against the opposite of what you brought up about that blood that comes out of the stone. This is saying that Israel was caused to drink the pure blood of the grape, of the vine. Okay, so these are all the blessings and the favor that the Most High bestowed on his chosen people, on Israel. But keep going, brother, verse 15.
But Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked.
So what did we do? But Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked. You know what that almost even sound like. Jeshurun was up there with that, yeah, man. I'm that dude, man. I'm the apple of the Most High's eye. You took that, what the Most High had blessed you with, and you waxed fat and kicked. And what else, brother?
Thou art waxing fat, thou art grown thick, thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook God which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation.
See, that's something that we do a lot. We lightly esteem the rock of our salvation. How you doing, brother?
I came back.
All praise to the Most High. We said we wanted to give you a Bible verse, brother. Are we able to do that? All right, can somebody bring out Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 7 for the brother? I want to see what you think about this one, brother.
Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 7. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding.
What do you think about that verse, brother, that said that wisdom is the principal thing? Therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding.
I mean, it depends on how you think about it. It depends on how it applies to you personally. I don't have a direct answer for that.
That's okay, brother. Can we show you what the Bible says? Can we get 1 and 7 for it now, brother? Proverbs 1 and 7. Because a good question after hearing something like that might be, well, what is wisdom? The Bible is telling me that wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all my getting, get understanding. A good question would be, well, what is wisdom? Let's find that out, brother.
Proverbs chapter 1 and verse 7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge.
What is the beginning of knowledge, brother?
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge.
Why do you think the Bible says that, brother? Finish it out, brother.
But fools despise wisdom and instruction.
But fools despise wisdom and instruction. The reason why the fear of the Most High is the beginning of knowledge is because it's difficult to teach somebody about God who doesn't truly believe in God. Can I show you that, brother? Can we real quick jump to Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 6, brother? That's really what faith is going into. You know,
I assume you guys are Israelites?
Right, absolutely. See, Yahawah, which is Jesus Christ, brother, said a famous line. He said that when he returns, shall he find faith on the earth? And he said that as almost as if it was going to be a rare thing. Brother, how many people really believe in God? And just sit with that. I mean, don't just say it because somebody asked you, but you actually sit with the idea that you truly believe in God and you fear him. If you understand how rare that is, maybe you can understand why that's the beginning of our knowledge. The first thing that the Most High God is requiring of you to do is actually fear him. Can we get Hebrews 11 and 6, brother?
Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 6. But without faith it is impossible to please him.
Without faith, it's impossible to please God. Why?
For he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him.
That's why many of us don't diligently seek him.
Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely, bro.
Right? For somebody who raised a Christian household, right? I see you have a King James Bible. So King James is, right? Who is King James? He's a colonizer.
Where did you get that from, brother?
King James is an English colonizer. It's in the history book. King James is an English colonizer. So the book that you call the Bible that you're reading is only one of 13 books. And the Vatican came out and publicly said this. You understand what I'm saying?
Can we get 1 Thessalonians 5 and 21 form? I do understand what you're saying, brother. This is one thing that
I'm
us...
ready to just have conversation as fellowship.
No, likewise, same way, brother.
Cool.
This is just some of the reasons, because us brothers actually, believe it or not, we love to learn. I mean, that's one of the pillars of having a fear of the Most High is that you can be humble enough to
I was
learn.
raised in a Christian household, so I raised in a Christian household. I was brought up in Christianity, so I've been to Baptist churches, whatever, Methodist, whatever. But then, as I got older, I grew up. I wanted to learn more. I was seeking, right? So I've read the Quran. I've done, Greek mythology. I've read the Bible. I've done all those things. So I'm just here to see what y'all got to say. That's all.
Absolutely.
I told you I'd come back. I'm here. So.
No, absolutely, brother, and I appreciate that. This is something that us brothers go by, and hopefully you can understand why wisdom like this is so important. 1 Thessalonians 5 and 21.
1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 21. Prove all things.
What, brother?
Prove all things. Hold fast that which is good.
What us brothers, we do our best to do is prove all things. So I'm not going to take a position on King James and what he is. I think you said he was a colonizer. I wouldn't be able to take a position on that unless it was proven to me. So that's the part that us brothers be humble when we do that. Another thing about King James, and this is part that we do know, it was never said that King James wrote the Bible. King James authorized the translation of the Bible. Our Bible goes all the way back to texts as old as 100 CE. So we're talking about 1900 to 2000 years. You can go to the Masoretic text. You can go to the Greek Septuagint. You can even open up the Dead Sea Scrolls. Yeah. They have literal documents that extend all the way back to the
Vatican.
Yeah. But my point is that the same scholars who put this Bible together, Greek and Hebrew scholars, they were using actual text. So it's less about who King James is and more about the work that the Most High put down in the earth. We can still go and compare these texts to the ancient texts. I actually have an app on my phone. Brothers can go and do that. So again, we always say, so what does King James' affiliation or his lifestyle really matter to the word of the Most High?
It's proven to, like the same place you can find where they kind of use scriptures and scrolls and things to create the Bible. It's the same place where you'll find who King James is. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's like, I've done my research, bro. I've been to some of these places. I've seen certain things. And I'm not here to,
discourage anybody from doing anything or disrespecting in any type of way.
No, we don't sense that, bro.
I'm looking for God. So, excuse me if,
Brother,
so,
that's what we here for, brother. We get up every Saturday to do this.
I got
This
friends
exact
just like
thing.
you that was raised in a church with me. I got a buddy right now. His name's Malik. He's an older fella. He's roughly in his 40s, late 40s. He was one of my mentors growing up as a Christian man. He's one of my right now. You know what I mean? So that's how I could see. I took the time to see what you had going. Walked my little shorty to the car and came back. Respectfully. So, but I just want to see what you guys had to say. What kind of scriptures that you would say to me that would come to, stand out to me.
Right. Well, hopefully those do, brother, because I'm just telling you that it's not in my ability to profess knowledge that I don't have. I wasn't around in the 1611 when the King James Version was authorized. But what we do know is that this text predates King James. So to mention King James and who he might be doesn't give us a faulty text at all. One of the main reasons for that is because us brothers can compare what we're reading to the ancient manuscripts that predate King James. So it's almost like if our brother right here speaks in different tongues. If a person came here speaking in a different tongue, they can't tell us whatever they want to tell us because we have something to compare it against. The same thing goes with this Bible. If there was something in here that was unclear or deceiving, we would be able to compare that to the ancient manuscripts and ancient texts, if that makes sense.
So why do you think they hide it from you?
Say that again?
Why do you think they hide it from you?
Why do they hide it from us?
Yeah, because the Bible that you read today is only a fraction of what they have. So Catholic, right? Catholicism. I don't know how to say it. Catholicism, right? Catholicism is a branch of Christianity, right? Yeah.
It is.
Right? You can be a Christian and be Catholic, but you can't be a Catholic and be Christian.
Right.
That's what they say. I don't know. I'm just, right? So it's a branch of, so why is it that the Bible that we're reading is made by the Catholic Church?
I wouldn't say that it's made by the Catholic Church. I would say that it was.
Look at a number of Bibles. If you look, I don't know. You can look at yours right now. I don't know. But if you look at a number of Bibles, I physically see that it was made by the Catholic Church.
No,
and say it in there.
No, I'm hearing what you're saying, but listen to what I'm saying. Let's say this brother translated the Bible,
right,
but he was a robber, and another brother did it, and he was a thief.
Right.
It's little about who they are if I can verify the word that I'm reading with the ancient manuscripts. I would have to not only believe that King James was a deceiver, but also that the men who wrote the ancient manuscripts that I'm comparing the text against were also deceivers.
Yeah, but they say that there's more than one book of the Bible. Those are ancient manuscripts.
Brother, you're going to see, us brothers, we don't deal with knowledge that we don't know. And humbly we do that.
Said the Bible.
Right.
Said the Bible.
Exactly.
As you can prove.
Yeah, exactly.
My man.
And that's why we went there, brother, because we do our best to prove all things. Yeah. And can we real quick get John chapter 17 and verse 17?
I'm listening, baby.
All praises. All praises.
I'm listening. I just got questions.
That's all right, because what else? Can you grab Isaiah chapter 34 verse 16, brother? Us brothers, for example, you mentioned the Roman Catholic Church. Where do you think this image came from?
That's the Roman Catholic Church.
Right. So this image comes from the Roman.
The same ones that was crucified.
Right. So, but you get what I'm saying. But listen to this part. Do you think that the King James Version Bible describes Jesus Christ is looking like this?
No.
So what deceived you? The Bible or the theology and the ideology of the Roman Catholic Church that they put out?
The theology.
That's why we're going to get this one first, brother. Isaiah 34 and 16.
Isaiah 34:16. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read.
See, the Most High has commanded us to seek out of the book of the Lord and read for obvious reasons. I'm a man. I could lie to you. The same way that Roman Catholic Church could. That's why the Most High is saying that you have to seek out of the book of the Lord and read. Keep going, brother.
No one of these shall fail.
He said that's what's not going to fail you. Keep going.
None shall want her mate.
Nobody's going to be able to mate with it and even argue against it if you actually read it. Keep going.
For my mouth it had commanded, and his spirit it had gathered them.
One of the proverbs they say about our people in this country is that if you want to hide something from us, you put it in a book. Exactly. Because many of us won't go to search these things out. It's real easy to just believe what someone else told us and not search these matters out. But you can see the pillars that us brothers stand on don't allow us to do that. I'm not saying that makes us better than anybody.
Right.
Just saying that I hope you believe that us brothers are not here to declare anything that we have as hearsay.
Right.
You know, or declare anything that we think we might know.
Right.
Instead, we want to also prove all things.
Right.
This is why I'm getting this verse, brother.
What book you in?
John chapter 17 and verse 17.
John chapter 17 and verse
This is how
17.
Jesus Christ
Red letter. Sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is truth.
What is true?
Thy word is truth.
Thy word is the truth. People know that Jesus famously said that he was the way, the truth, and the life. So we teach our people that if you truly want the truth of things, you got to start hearing the word. You know, you can say what you want to say about the Bible, but as I just showed you, it's over 2,000 years old. It's influenced 6 billion out of the 8 billion people on this planet. You'd almost be ignorant to not read that book. You know, let's say you got 3 books sitting on your shelf, and one is Secret. I forget what lady wrote that book, The Secret. Another one is 50 Shades of Grey. You know, and you skip the Bible, you go read 50 Shades of Grey, you go read The Secret, but yet this book that's been around for thousands of years, predates yours and mine's ancestors, has literally influenced the entire planet. Literally influenced the entire planet, yet that's the book that we don't read and go dive in. So the wisdom of Yahawah saying, seek out of the book of the Lord and read, that's not what's going to fail you. They make sure that we don't do that, so much so that they can put a blatant lie in your face and you'll never go and seek out what the truth of the Bible is. And that shows an example that what we're saying is accurate. That people will literally go and hear what somebody tells them and not read what the book really says. Well, we know that Yahawah Shah, Jesus Christ, was said to have skin the color of bronze and hair like wool. Nobody read that and thought to create this. This was deception.
That's the opposite of everything you were saying.
Exactly. I mean, what's one of the things they did to our ancestors in this country, brother? Between the 1800s, I want to say, I can't remember the exact year, but I know the period stretches from maybe the late 1700s to about the late 1800s. There was something called the anti-literacy laws in this country, where we weren't allowed to read. Exactly. Okay, you don't trip people up by giving them the books if you know it's going to be their salvation. No, you kill them if they even think they're going to read. And then they found out an even better plan. We won't kill you physically, we'll kill you mentally. We'll set up a bunch of Uncle Tom type pastors who will get up there and tell you our message from our point of view. And honestly, brother, that's what we've been ever since. That's how grandma, great-grandma got the lie that they got, and that's how they've passed that all the way down to us. But the key ingredient that we don't have is people are not seeking out of the book of the Lord and reading. That's what's not going to fail us. So if nothing else, brother, that's what us brothers believe. We come to this position that the word is the truth, and that we have to dive ourselves into it if we want more and more truth. Absolutely, brother.
God bless.
Do you have a phone, brother?
I do.
Are you able to scan our QR code, brother? Because we got a YouTube channel. Us brothers put out videos every week. They usually come out around Tuesday. Oh, actually, we got flyers there, brother. And the QR code is even on that flyer, too. It'll take you to our YouTube page. Us brothers do a lot of work, man. We may end up even posting this video because we try to put out as much knowledge and edification to people as we can, just teach them what the truth is. All praises, brother.
Have a good one, brother.
Did you have any additional questions about anything at all, brother?
Not at the moment. Just see me around.
All praise to the Most High, brother. Have a good one. Yeah, again, man, you know, a popular, and I don't think that brother was really having a stumbling block. Believe it or not, it just seems like that brother was sincerely seeking out knowledge and wisdom and wanting answers to his questions. So, Most High willing, the brother checks the channel out, and you know, if he has any questions, to get them answered. How you doing, sister? Do you believe in God, sister? Can we give you a Bible verse before you go? Kind of all praise to the Most High. Can we get the same one for it, brother? Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 7. We was just asking a brother right before you came up, sister. I want to know what you think about this.
Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 7. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding.
See, the Bible is teaching us that wisdom is the principal thing. What do you think about that? About wisdom being the principal thing. Therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. What do you think about that? Wisdom does come from the word of God. Can we get her that one brother that we was holding Proverbs? I know I said one, but we just want to combine wisdom. Because The Bible just taught us that wisdom is the most important thing that we can do. Now, just before you leave, if I can show you what the beginning of that wisdom and knowledge looks like.
Proverbs chapter 1 and verse 7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge.
Now, why do you think it says that, sister? That the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Right, absolutely. And fear really ties closely into faith, because faith means that you first believe God exists, right? So if you don't believe God exists, what's your chances of fearing him? So, and you see why that's important. You know, try telling your children to do something, but they have no respect for you. Or even worse, they treat you like you're not really there. What reasons do they have to do your commandments? So that's why that's the beginning of our knowledge. So if we can, we have a YouTube channel and we put videos out every week. If you look at the bottom, there's a QR code on there that'll take you to our YouTube page. We teach our people the truth of the Bible, a lot of things that our people might not know, including why you may call yourself an African American or a black. I'm not sure what your ethnicity is, but all of those answers are actually found in the Bible. If you check the channel out, Most High willing, you can get something from us. Most High bless you, sister. Have a good one. What's going on, brother? You got a question, brother?
How is it so easy that our brothers can hear somebody say something and have literally no cut? They can say, beautiful. Well, I saw this on TikTok. I saw this on TV. I read it in a book. Don't have to inspect, don't have to investigate, don't even have to ask a question. It's as if God himself said it to them. I've never understood.
Us brothers tried our best to do a lesson on that, and it's a shame. Many of us don't have a love for the voice of the Most High like we think we do. So us brothers was moved to do a lesson called hearing the voice of the Most High. How to know that you're hearing the voice of the Most High versus hearing the voice of man. Because many of us fall in love with hearing the voice of man, and we actually, no brother's gonna come out and say that, but you despise the word of the Most High. But you don't have to say it. Like I say, you can know a person by their fruits. So it's obvious in the fruits that the Hebrew Israelites are known for brothers that do their best to give you thus said the Most High. And yet we're the ones that met with a certain amount of disdain. You know, I'm not saying some brothers don't earn what they get as far as, you know, their reputation out here, but the fact that brothers also have a reputation of doing their best to rightly divide the word and give you thus said the Most High is something that's really not talked about enough, you know. And maybe even by myself, you know, I'll be the first to tell you, all praises to the Most High for the brothers that labor and have labored before me and have put so much work in that we can even be able to pick up on this fruit. You know, I don't think brothers understand how mighty that is. And it's probably because you're looking at the battle from a position of yourself. You know what? I want to be right. The way I'm looking at it is, you know what? If that brother can help me get to God, then that's a brother I want on the earth. Who am I to take that brother and his gospel and his ministry away? See, your end goal is faulty. That's why you can't see the things that are going on in the earth and give praise and glory to the Most High. Like Vocab Malone talking about the 12 tribes chart. We'll be the first ones to tell you that the 12 tribes chart in itself is not scripture. But to see these works of the Most High and to see what they've done on the earth, I'd be stupid to ignore it. Does that at least make sense? So no, brothers aren't building their doctrine around the 12 tribes chart sign. But how ignorant would I be to ignore all of the scholarship that went into these things just because I think I'm better than these brothers or I'm wiser than these brothers? You know, the fire will declare whose works needs to be burnt up. You know, it's my job to seek out the Most High the best way I can. So all praises to the Most High that brothers are involved in scholarship. You know, brothers going into the Hebrew, brothers going into the Greek, brothers going into the ancient texts. You know, brothers are rightly dividing the word. You should thank and give glory to the Most High when you see them on the earth. But again, maybe you have a side mission, and your side mission is maybe the glorying of yourself. You know, can we real quick get Philippians 1:15 just to make that point? And then, brother, if we can keep going, I kind of do want to get to that Deuteronomy 32 account, because that was a mighty account. But just to end that, you know, that point about giving praise to our brothers that have labored for so long. You know, they give us brothers to contend with, brothers to grow thereby. You know, all praise to the Most High for you brothers. It's because of many brothers like that that I'm able to strive in my journey towards the Most High. You know, so I would never want something like that to cease. My voice don't mean another brother's voice got to decrease. And Most High willing is vice versa. Can we get that, brother?
Philippians chapter 1 and verse 15. Some indeed preach Christ, even of envy and strife, and some also of goodwill. The one preach Christ of contention, and sincerely supposing to add affliction to my bonds.
Paul's affliction. Keep going, brother.
But the other of love, knowing that I am set for the defense of the gospel.
Paul is set for the defense of the gospel. Keep going.
What then? Notwithstanding every way, whether in pretense or in truth, Christ is preached.
Say that again, brother.
What then? Notwithstanding every way, whether in pretense or in truth, Christ is preached. And I therein do rejoice, yea, and will rejoice.
And I do the same. I yet will rejoice at the preaching of Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. Believe it or not, if not for brothers like that, would I even be in the position that I'm in? No matter how righteous you feel like you might be, what did the other brothers lay down for you? Essentially, what did the Most High lay down for you that you may be able to walk in that light? So, to be able to see these acts and these mighty works taking place on the earth and giving glory to the Most High is a mighty thing. You said you got it ready to go, brother? Okay, come on. Are we able to pick up where we was, brother, in Deuteronomy? I want to say 32. We might be at like verse 15, I think, where it starts saying that Jeshurun wax fat and kid. No, 15 is probably, because I know Deuteronomy 32 and 9 through 15 just laid down some of the things, some of the mighty things that the Most High has done for Israel, how he gathered us, and then 15 is going into something else.
Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 15. But Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked. Thou art waxen fat, thou art grown thick, thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook God, which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation.
See, that's what we don't want to do. And that's how this conversation got started. We was talking about glorifying the Most High. Where Yahawah said in John chapter 7 that the man that speaketh of himself seeks his own glory. But the man that speaks of the one that sent him seeks the glory of the one that sent him. And for that reason, no unrighteousness is in him. Or like Paul wrote in 1 Corinthians chapter 1, as he referenced in Jeremiah 9, if you're going to glory in anything, glory in the fact that you know the Most High. So we definitely want to get into that point, because sometimes that can end up being a stumbling block for the children of Israel, not esteeming the rock of our salvation and lightly doing that. Keep going from there, brother.
Verse 16. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods, and abominations provoked they him to anger. They sacrificed unto devils, not to God, to gods whom they knew not, to new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not. Of the rock that begat thee, thou art unmindful, and hast forgotten God that formed thee. And when the Lord saw it, he abhorred them.
Yeah, what, brother?
When the Lord saw it, he abhorred them.
See, and that's why I say it's important to read these whole contexts. Because if you're only looking for one side of the coin, you can receive it. If you only wanted to hear that you are the apple of the Most High's eye, nobody's taking that away. But a sincere brother definitely wants to see what the Most High declares, and what the Most High wants, and what's his will, and what glorifies him. You can find it if you keep reading. Keep going, brother.
And when the Lord saw it, he abhorred them because of the provoking of his sons and of his daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them.
See, and this is deep, brother. Like I said, this is all the way back in Deuteronomy, where the Most High was telling you the reason why he doesn't deal with us in the same way.
And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be. For they are a very forward generation, children in whom is no faith.
Children in whom is no what?
Children in whom is no faith.
See, people talk about faith a lot, like faith wasn't mentioned in the Old Testament or in the law. But even in the law, we can see that the children of Israel were known for being a people that didn't have faith. And we lightly esteem the rock of our own salvation. Think about what the Most High said. All right, I'm going to see what your end is going to be. I'm going to hide my face from you. So people wonder why the Most High is hiding his face from us. And that's why I say you can kind of tell a lot about a brother's agenda. You know, do you want the Most High to bring his face back amongst us and amongst our people? Or do you have another agenda? Matter of fact, is it more on there, brother? Can you read that verse one more time?
Verse 20. And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be. For they are a very froward generation, children in whom is no faith.
Children in whom is no faith. So again, it's hard to have a fear of the Most High, which we know how mighty and powerful that is. But if you don't have faith in the Most High, how are you going to adopt the fear? So even back then, we were children who didn't have faith, and we lightly esteemed the rock of our salvation. Can we go to Hosea chapter 5 and verse 15, brother? Just to get something more on that about the Most High hiding his face from the children of Israel. Hosea chapter 5 goes into that as well. And it gives us a little bit of guidance on what the Most High is looking for from us.
Hosea chapter 5 and verse 15. I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense.
What does Israel have to do?
Acknowledge their offense.
See, that's what sometimes can't take place if you're too busy living in the news that you are the apple of the Most High's eye. Again, don't hear what we're not saying. I think that happens all the time, and you got to warn brothers to hear that. Us brothers aren't trying to piece apart one part of the scripture and just live with that. We're trying to read the whole account in its entirety. So there is a requirement of you being the apple of the Most High's eye. There's a requirement of you being in the covenant. There's a requirement of you being given the law, statutes, and commandments. We haven't been faithful on our part, but yet we want to receive blessings and things like that that ought not to be so. That's why it's mighty that we have a spirit of acknowledging our offenses. So many of our forefathers, the prophets, were sent forth so that Israel may do that they may acknowledge their offense, come back to the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God, that the Most High God may dwell amongst us once again. Read that again from the top, brother.
I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense and seek my face. In their affliction, they will seek me early.
So he will hide his face until we acknowledge our offense. That's why us brothers say so often that accountability is a big part in this thing. You know, it's not so much of the pointing of the finger and who did what and who the Most High was moving to do what, but you understanding your position and what you got your judgment for, and you making that right, which again, so many of our forefathers came and did that, but oftentimes we can get an agenda that puts us in the way of doing what the Most High has required of us. Can we get one more, brother, in Jeremiah chapter 5? You know, some of these lessons are mighty to be taught as well, because you know what? I'm under the impression that only a sincere brother or sister seeks correction and seeks reproof and seeks rebuke. If you only seeking praise, I thought all praises was to the Most High. You know, I'm not that brother that's here to overpraise you, man, on any side. You know, maybe that's what the problem is that I'm just not the brother to do that. You know, we're reading the scripture in its entirety. There's many things that we should want rebuke and correction from, that we can be worthy once again in the sight of the Most High, glorifying him. Let's get that, brother. Jeremiah 5, we can start at verse 1, brother.
Jeremiah chapter 5 and verse 1. Run ye to and fro through the streets of Jerusalem, and see now, and know, and seek in the broad places thereof, if ye can find a man, if there be any that executed judgment, that seeketh the truth, and I will pardon.
Hold up, man. Just think about what the Most High is telling Jeremiah right here. Run through the cities of Jerusalem. Run through Israel. You can find me one brother, like one brother that executed judgment and that seeketh the truth. I will pardon this judgment. Say that again, brother, from the top.
Jeremiah chapter 5 and verse 1. Run ye to and fro through the streets of Jerusalem, and see now, and know, and seek in the broad places thereof, if ye can find a man, if there be any that executed judgment, that seeketh the truth, and I will pardon.
And that's very important, because this ain't talking about just your judgment, and it's not talking about your truth. But find me a man that executed the Most High's judgment. Find me a man that seeks the truth of the Most High, not what you already want him to do. You know, I was having this conversation with my family. You know, we got to be careful about questioning God like we know what we're talking about. Well, if I was God, you know, why is there good and evil? Who do you think you are? To God, you like a monkey hitting at a lawnmower with a wrench. You know, like, why this thing don't work yet? Because you don't know nothing. Like, who are you to question God? Like, why are you doing what you do? If I was God, essentially that's what they're saying. When you ask a question like, why does God do this and why does God do that? You're making the proposition that you would do better. Well, if I was God, let me tell you what I would do. See, that's our problem. Humility doesn't set in. How many people truly seek the truth? The Most High's truth, not your own truth in the story and the way that you want it. And that's really big, unfortunately, in these Christian churches, where many of us, and it's hard to see, or should I say it's subtle. Us brothers can see it because all praise to the Most High, he woke us up to this. But many people fall in love with these pastors' words. The love of God is, unfortunately, sometimes nowhere near that building. And if that same pastor started bringing out thus said the Most High, you probably lose a lot of that congregation. Because the people aren't there in a fear of the Most High. They didn't come to him with that true and sincere fear. And that's the reason why they don't have a love for his word. Can we keep going with that, brother?
Verse 2. And though they say the Lord liveth, surely they swear falsely.
And that's why I was supposed to bring that out so often. If you ask average people, do you believe in God? Of course they're going to tell you yes. Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, I talk to God every night. But say the verse again, brother.
And though they say the Lord liveth, surely they swear falsely.
So you say that the Most High lives, but you're swearing falsely. You don't really believe. And that's the reason why you don't have a true fear of the Most High, and it hasn't caused you to be obedient to his word. Keep going, brother.
O Lord, are not thine eyes upon the truth? Thou hast stricken them, but they have not grieved. Thou hast consumed them, but they have refused to receive correction. They have made their faces harder than a rock. They have refused to return.
And that's one of the problems that we have. You know, we talk about the curses and the different judgments that the Most High has pronounced on us. Have we learned them? I mean, that's a good question. When it stops being about everybody else and it's about you, yeah, you went through these judgments. Did you learn from them? Because Jeremiah is saying you've stricken them, but they have not grieved. You've corrected them, but they've refused to return. So a lot of times, we want to make sure we get what we were supposed to get from this judgment. This is what Israel has been missing all the way from Deuteronomy. Now we're in Jeremiah. And you'll find the same thing is echoed in Hosea. The same thing is echoed in Isaiah. Hosea and Isaiah. The prophets were always coming to Israel trying to get the Most High's people back on track and back obedient and back in the sight of the covenant and in the good graces of the Most High. So this is still the message that us brothers are doing our best to try to put out there as well, glorifying the Most High. Keep going, brother.
Verse 4. Therefore I said, surely these are poor.
Why are we poor, brother?
They are foolish, for they know not the way of the Lord, nor the judgment of their God.
See? It all goes back in a circle. You're foolish because you know not the way of Yahawah. You know not the way of the rock of your salvation. So again, like I said, out of all the agendas that you see in the world, ask yourself, who's really trying to get the glory of the Most High? Who's going to sit out when they're getting ready to go be crucified and say, Father, glorify your name? All right. Didn't Yahawah also say that he wanted us to bring forth fruits, that's what glorifies the Father? Does not the scripture say to let your light shine before men, that they may glorify your Father which is in heaven? So if the glory is going to us, when is the Most High getting his? Keep going, brother.
Verse 5. I will give me unto the great men, and will speak unto them, for they have known the way of the Lord.
For they have known the way of the Lord, the great men,
and the judgment of their God. But these have altogether broken the yoke, and burst the bonds. Wherefore a lion out of the forest shall slay them, and a wolf of the evening shall spoil them. A leopard shall watch over their cities. Every one that goeth out thence shall be torn in pieces, because their transgressions are many, and their backsliding are increased.
So again, we just understanding what the Most High has done to Israel over and over throughout the course of history, throughout the course of our ancestors' lives. And we can take a lot of good counsel from that, brother. Can we grab one more? I want to say Isaiah chapter 8. And with that one, we can start at verse 1, brother. Matter of fact, brother, let's get a little bit of context. Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 1. And then we're going to go to 8 and 1. Because again, we made the point that this is the message that the prophets were always out there trying to do. So again, it's mighty to look at a brother, and they're not going to just come out and tell you, but then some brothers do. You know, it's your fault if you didn't listen and have a listening ear. But the brother may have told you his agenda when he first started talking. Brothers come out and be like, hey, we here to do this, this, that. Did he say glorify the Most High first? Was glory in the Most High anywhere in that brother's opening statement? You know, and if it is, and those are the fruits they produce, then all praises to the Most High. But you as a listener have to be on the lookout for that so that you can see some people's agenda. Some people are hiding their agenda, but some people will flat out just tell you, we're out here trying to do this. And it's for you to be sincere enough to understand if that agenda is the glorifying of the Most High. Let's get that brother starting at verse 1.
Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 1. The vision of Isaiah, the son of Amos, which he saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for the Lord hath spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me.
See? The same thing. You start Isaiah off, and he's telling you what the situation is, and who he's been out there to send, and who the Most High sent them to go deal with. Keep going, brother.
The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doeth not know, my people do it not consider. All sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. They have forsaken the Lord. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are gone away backward. Why should he be stricken any more? He will not provoke more and more. The whole head is strict, and the whole heart faint.
So again, this is the Most High giving a judgment on the children of Israel. Okay, and it's mighty that we be in a spirit to try to make sure that we're receiving the necessary correction that we need. That's why I say a sincere brother is going to be trying to seek that out. Like, you really want the Most High to show his face in your life again. You hear the reasons why he said he turned his face from us. Why not go fix that thing? So if you go off and do a side mission, a side agenda, are you really doing what's pleasing in the eyes of the Most High? Are you really seeking his glory, or are you seeking something of yourself? Can we get Isaiah chapter 8? So we just get in the context of what Isaiah and who Isaiah is going out there to talk to. Can we pick back up at Isaiah chapter 8, brother? And I want to say verse 9.
Verse 9. Associate yourselves, O ye people, and ye shall be broken in pieces, and give ear, all ye of far countries. Gird yourselves, and ye shall be broken in pieces. Gird yourselves, and ye shall be broken in pieces. Take counsel together, and it shall come to naught. Speak the word, and it shall not stand, for God is with us.
So there's a different people that is out there doing the works, but the Most High is not with them. Okay, their counsel and all of those things are going to be brought to naught. And you're going to get a lot of wisdom by who is who in this account, brother. If we can keep going, I think verse 11.
Verse 11. For the Lord spake thus to me with a strong hand, and instruction me that I should not walk in the way of this people, saying, Say ye not, a confederacy to all them to whom this people shall say, a confederacy, neither fear ye their fear, nor be afraid.
Say that verse one more time, bro.
Verse 12. Say ye not a confederacy.
Say ye not a confederacy.
To all them to whom this people shall say, a confederacy.
To all these people who shall say a confederacy.
Neither fear ye their fear, nor be afraid.
Neither fear ye their fear, nor be afraid. Now, I don't know the confederacy that was going on at this time, but it doesn't seem like it was on the accord of what the Most High deemed for them to do. So again, that's why we're kind of bringing this out, that we have to be careful about what agenda we're moving in. And are we, how you doing, brother? And are we moving an agenda to give glory to the Most High and to come back to him and do his will? And are we moving in another agenda and following the multitude to do the same, as Exodus 23:2 warns us against? You know, not following the multitude to do evil. Keep going, brother, on that one. He says a line in here that's really mighty to consider.
Sanctify the Lord of hosts himself.
Say it again, brother.
Sanctify the Lord of hosts himself.
No, brother, I got my own plan.
Sanctify the Lord of hosts himself.
It says sanctify Yahawah of hosts himself. And that's what I mean. A lot of times, the Most High don't get the glory. You know, the Most High takes a back seat to an agenda that you may want to put forth. And what we have to be careful of is that we are also seeking the glory of the Most High, and that we're sanctifying him himself. You know, sometimes, and man, you got to be careful when you say this, because I know how people think. But a lot of times, you know, brothers are operating in a movement, and the movement seems to be more about your agenda and what you want to accomplish in the earth. And you have to make sure that your agenda is the same one that the Most High has. Okay, so Yahawah said mighty lines like, who is my brother and who is my mother, but them that do the will of my Father. So, you know, a lot of times, Yahawah gave us great examples about how you glorify the Father and you not seek your own glory. Yahawah gave us a great example of that. It seems like we would do well to walk in that same spirit. Okay, so again, verse 13, and keep going, brother.
Verse 13. Sanctify the Lord of hosts himself, and let him be your fear, and let him be your dread.
Let him be your fear, and let him be your dread.
And he shall be for a sanctuary, for a stone of stumbling, and for a rock of offense to both the houses of Israel, and a gin, and for a snare to the inhabitants of Jerusalem.
So we know who the context is. That's why we wanted to go into the beginning of the chapter and the book itself to give us the context of who's being spoken to. Keep going, brother.
And many among them shall stumble and fall, and be broken, and be snared, and be taken. Bind up the testimony, seal the law among my disciples.
See, that's important, brother. For us brothers and sisters that really seek the Most High sincerely, it's amazing. That's why I say we don't want to cut any brother off. You know, you don't have a message that I want you to stop speaking, because everybody's works is going to be manifest in that day, whether they were good or whether they were evil. But for that information to be out there, I couldn't be where I am if I didn't have brothers that were doing their best to rightly divide the word of truth. But it's amazing that this prophecy is saying, seal the law and the testimony among my disciples. Most High willing, we can be found in that number. And we can be those brothers and sisters who have had the law and the testimony sealed amongst us. Let's see what we're supposed to do with that, brother, once we get it.
Bind up the testimony, seal the law among my disciples, and I will wait upon the Lord that hideth his face from the house of Jacob, and I will look for him.
You will look for who?
And I will look for him.
Notice how this is going to what we read in Deuteronomy 32 and Hosea chapter 5 about the Most High hiding his face from the children of Israel. Isaiah knew this in this prophecy, like, hey, I'm gonna do this for the Most High that's hidden his face away from us, and I'm going to seek him. So again, this is where sincerity comes in, where your sincere mission is to seek the face of the Most High, like Hosea 5 and 15 told us to do. Acknowledge your offense and seek the Most High's face, that he may start dealing with us once again. Keep going, brother.
Behold, I and the children whom the Lord hath given me are for signs and for wonders in Israel from the Lord of hosts, which dwelleth in Mount Zion. And when they shall say unto you, seek unto them that have familiar spirits, and unto wizards that peep and that mutter, should not a people seek unto their God, for the living to the dead?
See, a people that's seeking unto their God. You know, me and you talked a lot, brother, about a conversation that was on Twitter about would you still worship the Most High if you found out that your ethnicity was something different. And it's not for me to say what you will do. Honestly, that's not for me. You know, I know brothers think that maybe because I'm saying it, I'm delivering a judgment. No, I had to sit with that question too. I had to look upon my own heart too and say to myself, what really keeps you in this thing? Is it something that you think that you're going to receive, or who you think you are, or is it because of who you think he is? Because if it's about who you think you are, on the day that that's taken away from you, now what are you? But if it's more about who he is, then you're not going to fall flat on your face on that day of any judgment. And I'm more inclined to believe that those are more of the true children of Israel anyway, or at least that remnant that's spoken about so often. Because these men, where he says, seal the law and the testimony among my disciples, some of the things they were doing was seeking out the Most High. They weren't going with the Confederacy. They weren't going with the group. They were seeking out the Most High. It's a little bit more on that, brother. Can we read verse 19 one more time?
And when they shall say unto you, seek unto them that have familiar spirits, and unto wizards that peep and that mutter, should not a people seek unto their God? For the living to the dead, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them.
And that's the classic that so many of us go by. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. Notice what he said was going to be sealed amongst the disciples, the law and the testimony. So a few sincere, righteous brothers and sisters All we were doing is trying to seal amongst them the law and the testimony. That's the same. How you doing, brother? That's the same thing that we can see in Revelations going into the elect and the 144,000. That the winds were being held back until he had sealed them. You know, so even that sealing could go back into the law and the testimony. So it's a mighty thing that you have brothers coming out here giving the law and the testimony, but at the same time, we want to make sure that if we're teaching our people anything, it's to glorify him that created the heavens and the earth. You know, that's a topic that doesn't get its just due, and that's a shame. You know, like I said already, if a brother or sister talks to me and what they leave thinking more than anything is anybody else's glory outside of the Most High, then I'm going to feel like I failed them at some point. You know, because we definitely want to be operating that spirit of glorifying the Most High.
Ask Yahawah, hear what I pray, cause I know I can die any day. Please Yahawah, just show me the way. Tryna walk down the path that you laid.